Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Welcome to my talk show. Okay, today we want to discuss a lot of things about the contract law. So I will introduce you all the best guests in the world. Okay, wait and see. Welcome to three of the best guests in the world. Welcome to Zo. Thank you. The second one is Alif. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome. The last one is Muja from Afghanistan. Thank you, Muja. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's be serious in this talk show. Today, before we start the talk show, I will show to all of the audience the best parody about our topic for today. Okay, roll it!
Hello. What happened?
Go away! Don't disturb me!
What happened? Please talk to me. What happened?
My phone!
Your phone. What happened to your
My phone lost!
I lost your phone.
I forgot!
Let me find your phone.
Somebody stole my phone!
Let me find your phone.
Please find my phone. I love that phone. Left from my parents. Please help me.
Okay, I will help you. But what will I get if I find your phone?
I will give you something that you never expect, like 100 of money.
Okay, I will find your phone.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, thank you to the guests for coming to my talk show today. Okay, as usual, we will have every different week we have different topics. So today, we want to talk about the contract law, which is we want to discuss about one of the element in the contract law that is very important. Okay, this is about the consideration. Okay, what I understand about this consideration is when someone give something to another one, then another one should reply that. Okay, so for Azul, what do you think and what do you understand more about the consideration actually?
Okay, what I understand about consideration can be divided into three types, which is executed consideration, executory consideration, and past consideration. Okay, first, executed consideration. A promise is made in return for the performance of an act. Okay, I give you example. The situation when A offer reward to anyone who found his lost cat, and B found the cat and returned to the A, and B claimed the rewards. B has made considerations to claim a reward, but not before A make an offer. Okay, secondly is executory consideration. Executory consideration is promise is made in return for another promise. A promise that consideration to implement sometime in the future. This consideration can we call it future consideration. And the third is past consideration. Past consideration is a subsequent promise made in response to past act or previous consideration made. When this question when act of consideration has already been made before an offer is made. There are two types of past considerations. One is under section 2D, where past consideration is made under offerer wish, and the second is under 26B, where past consideration is made voluntarily. Okay, that's all.
Oh, I see. I got it. Thank you for your detail about the explanation about the type of consideration. Okay, so what I understand about that is we have three categories of the consideration. The first one is executed. Executed is happen when the promise plus action. Okay. The second one is accessory. Promise plus promise, and the third one is action plus promise. So every categories have different meaning and different types. Usual, every element in the contract law, every element in the world have their own rules. So in this consideration, we also have the own rules. Okay. So Alif, what do you can explain to us? What is the rules in the consideration that we should to follow to ensure that the contract is must be valid?
Okay, thank you, Nazirin. In consideration, we have 7 rules, but I will explain for you 3 rules. The first one is under section 64, payment to compensate part of debt. I will give you for an example, which is Nazirin owes 10,000 ringgit from Zul, and then Mujahid paid behalf of the debt, so that Zul will consider Nazirin has paid the debt. The second rules is must be sufficient but need not be adequate. Every consideration made by parties is a contract must has value. I will give an example for one case, which is Fang Sui Kim versus Beh I Hope. So the payment of 500 by appellant to the respondents as a price to buy respondents' estate is what we call is a consideration. Okay, for the last rules is under section 2D, that need not come from promise. That mean, for example, Mujahid deal with Zul that if Mujahid's father give him a motorbike, he will pay all his debt to Zul. But if his father not give him a motorbike, he will not pay the debt. So that in this case, Mujahid still should pay the debt, because Mujahid has made a deal with Zul, and then it shows that they have made a contract. Even the consideration is at his father. Okay, that's all.
Actually, in the consideration, we have 7 type of rules that we should follow to ensure that contract is must be valid. So 3 of the rules that explained by Alif is very detailed. So I think you all have understand about that rules. So we need to follow the rules to make sure that our contract is valid. What I understand from the explanation by Alif and Zul, I understand that contract without consideration is void. So Muja, can you explain me sometimes exception to the consideration? What actually meaning that exception to the consideration? Can you explain to us about that words?
Okay, as we all know, in law, consideration is one of the element. Without consideration, the contract become void. But there is some case where consideration is not needed. According to the section 226 A, B, and C, consideration is not needed, and the contract created based on the section become valid. For the first one is the section 26A. an agreement made on account of natural of love and affection. In this case, we need a agreement in writing and an official. For example, is father and son bond, like mother and daughter. In case of written sonship, the father make a contract with his son to make him study abroad. There is no need for the consideration between them because they have relationship between father and son. Okay, for the second one is section 26B. Agreement to compensate for a past violation act. It needs two items, which is a promise to compensate the whole or a part of two promiser. The second one is promiser did the act voluntarily. For an example, JM Wetherspoon Corporation versus Henry Agency House. There was a dispute between a Malaysian and English firm. Both had acted as agent for various products. The Malaysian firm would find buyer and English firm would find seller. Things went wrong. The English firm sued the Malaysian firm for the loss it suffered called the non-payment buyer. Hence, the question to whether plaintiff was a person who had voluntarily done something for the defendant depend on the plaintiff action. Plaintiff had acted on the suggestion of defender, so that its action was not voluntarily done. Thus, the promise to compensate plaintiff was not an enforceable contract. For the third one is the agreement to compensate for an act to as the promiser was legally compelled to do. Under section 26B, the requirement is promiser has done the act voluntarily. The act is one which the promiser was legally compelled to do, and the last one is an agreement to compensate which wholly or partly the promiser for the fact. Okay, done.
Thank you, Muja, for the explanation. If an agreement is made under situation as provided by the sections 26(2)(a), agreement is valid and enforceable. So we already arrived at the end of the talk. So thank you to the guests for coming, Muja, Alif, and Zul, for the best explanation to our audience. And I hope the audience understand every single words from our guests. So thank you to everyone that involved in the talk show. Thank you. Bye. See you again.